Hi, and welcome back. Recently I've been reading the latest in the Dexter series, Double Dexter by Jeff Lindsay, and as I'm nearing the end of this book, I've been thinking to myself, I'm like, I really, really enjoy this book, and there would be no proper way for me to review this book without spoiling it for someone who has never read any of the books in this wonderful and great series. But instead of doing a review of this latest book that I've read, I think I'm going to tell you guys why I love the Dexter series so much, and why I think it's better than the Showtime series. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the Showtime series, but the books are way better, and I'm going to tell you why I think that is. I'm not going to assume that you know who the main character Dexter is, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Dexter is a forensic specialist who does blood spatter as his specialty in Miami Police Department. Every month or so, he is a serial killer, but he's not a regular serial killer. He's more of an anti-hero, and by anti-hero I mean, like, he doesn't kill just random people or just anyone. He kills villains or people that have done horrible bad things but have gotten away with it and the law hasn't caught up to them. So these are the types of people that Dexter kills. In every single one of Jeff Lindsay's Dexter books, there is a villain or a group of villains that Dexter is up against, and the best way I could describe these books is, I wouldn't say that they're horror. I would say they're more like crime, like whodunit thriller books, because they always focus not on the killings that are occurring in the books, but they focus more on the mystery of trying to find out who is the main villain in the book and what is going on in relation to the main character Dexter. One of the really awesome things that Lindsay does when he writes these books is, like, starting from the first book in the series, he introduces us to Dexter Morgan, and he is this socially awkward person who really doesn't think of himself as being a human, and he thinks of himself primarily as a predator. Now, Lindsay uses a lot of his interpersonal relationships, like relationships with his family, relationships with his coworkers, and these relationships develop over time in this book series, and they make the character Dexter more endearing to the reader. This is my opinion. It takes the time to develop these relationships with the main character Dexter Morgan is one of the main reasons why I think the book series is so much better than the Showtime cable series, TV show. Because in the cable TV series, if there are complications or things get a little too rough in the TV show, they kill off or write off the character. So you will find in the Dexter book series that Sergeant Dokes is still alive. I won't explain in what condition he's still alive. Rita's still alive, and almost from the get-go, Deborah knows about Dexter's hobby, which makes for a more interesting read. He also has a relationship with his brother Brian, and the most fascinating thing I find about the book series is the relationship that Dexter has with Rita's kids, his stepchildren. And if you read the story, you're going to find this a little peculiar, and it's kind of, what the fuck, but it's so cool in itself. These are adult fiction books, so if you're not used to reading adult fiction, you may find that reading about the day-to-day activities of Dexter, you might find them a little boring, a little slow. But I do think, as I've stated before, I do think that these are what makes these books so good. And I can see why these series of books were turned into a TV show. I mean, just all this stuff, and plus I love the fact that Jeff Lindsay gives the shout-outs to my hometown, Syracuse, every once in a while in one of his books. It's not too often you, like, see your hometown featured in a book. Besides all of that, Dexter becomes a emotional character who is human, and I think he starts to realize that he really is human by the time you get to the latest book, Double Dexter. I think he realizes how much he has changed, like being married and having a family, and it's just like these little things that, like, you know, like I said, the relationships make this a good story. The fact that Dexter is very intelligent, he's witty, and he tends to be the one behind the scenes who solves the crimes is pretty damn cool too. But he's rather humble, and he lets his sister take the main spotlight most of the time. Last thing I want to say about the Dexter series is that a lot of these villains or other killers that are in the Dexter book series, they're really, really out there. They're really intense. And they're not like anything you may have seen in the TV series. That's another reason why I say the book series is way better than the TV show. For instance, in one of the books, Dexter goes up against a group of cannibals. I don't think you'd ever see that featured on Showtime, but that was it just made for a really fantastic twist and really interesting element, you know, to the book series. So that's all I got for you guys. If you have not read the Dexter book series, go ahead and check them out. They're really, really cool. The first book in the series is a lot like the TV show, I will say that much. But from books 2 and on, they're all very, very different from the TV show. And that's why I think the Dexter book series is awesome in my book. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Any questions, comments? What do you think? Have you read these books? Do you love the TV show? Let me know what you think. Later, guys.